Hello guys, this is Mikhail coming at you with a sample video tutorial from my upcoming training course on using Blender in a video production environment. And this particular video is from the second chapter, which is on color grading. And in this video, we'll talk about the basic principles of color. And it'll be a very short video, and we'll be talking about the basic things like we'll start by defining color. Then we'll move on and talk about two commonly used methods in describing color, and towards the end we'll talk about the color wheel. So, so what is color? We'll start by defining color. Well, color it can be defined in many different ways, but perhaps the most formal definition is on Wikipedia, and you might read it, but it's really long and boring. So I can generalize it by saying that color is simply a property of light. So what we commonly refer to as color is a property of light. So what happens is we have a light source, and the light source emits light, and it travels and it bounces off the surface. Then when it reaches our eye, we perceive that to be color. And what we actually believe to be different colors are lights with different frequencies. So lower frequencies of light are more likely red, as you can see here, and as we go higher, we travel through the spectrum of colors. But this method of describing colors is really not intuitive as artists, so throughout the years, color models have been developed. What a color model is, it's basically a way of describing colors by mixing red, green, and blue. So when we define a color in the RGB color model, it's a mixture of red, green, and blue, and with different proportions, of course. So white is a mixture of red, green, and blue in equal proportions. But yellow is a mixture of red, green, and black. What black means is it means zero, so it's like we're not adding the blue color at all. And in a similar way, magenta or pink is a mixture of red and blue, and cyan is a mixture of green and blue, and orange is a mixture of red, half green, and blue. What half green actually means is there's the amount of green in orange is lower than the amount of red. That's that's what that half sign indicates. And this idea of adding red, green, and blue on top of each other can also be applied to entire image. This photo here of Ton Roosendahl can be broken down into its three components, which are the red component, the green component, and the blue component. These three components are actually called the channels of the image. So we have the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. And when we add them on top of each other, we get the final composite. So now that we've looked at the RGB color model, we'll go and talk about the Hsp model. What the Hsp stands for is hue, saturation, and value. So the hue is basically the name of the color. So as you can see here, we've got a bunch of colors, and what I mean by the name of the color is, for example, here we've got light green and we've got dark green, but both are actually green, so the hue is called green. In a similar way, we've got the value. What a value is the lightness or the darkness of a certain color. In a similar way, we've got the saturation. The saturation is the purity of the color. So when we say a color is very saturated, what we mean is that it's really pure and it's not diluted. Okay, so here in Blender, I'll just quickly demonstrate what we just talked about. So when I change the hue slider here, it will change the hue of the entire image. So it changed the color range of the entire thing, and changing the saturation also will affect the purity of the image. So when I desaturate the image, it goes to black and white, and by saturating the image, the colors start to pop. Changing the value as well affects the entire image, and when I decrease the value, it gets darker and darker, and by increasing the value, the image starts to brighten. Now that we looked at the two commonly used methods in describing colors, we'll go and talk about the color wheel. What the color wheel is it's a tool that helps us assess color combinations and pick colors in many software applications. The way the color wheel is constructed is by keeping the red, green, and blue equally separated along a circle, and everything else in between is a blend between the colors on either side. So as you can here we've got a very simplified and blocky color wheel, but we can blur it, which will give us a wider range of colors, as you can see here. We can also extend the color wheel all the way down to the middle, and we can also add white on it in the middle, which will give us a range in saturation as well. Thank you for watching, and make sure you leave feedback in the comments and let me know if there's anything wrong with my voice or if I am moving too fast, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye.